Okay, so here we are at the trailhead. Actually, this is a parking spot that we found. The trailhead's up that way, but we're doing a trek up to Mount Joan. Buddy, Sensei, Eric's car, and Eric. Yeah. I wish my pack was your size. There's my pack. It's far too big. Well, see how this goes. It's raining a little bit, and the temperature is dropping fast. It's about 3 in the afternoon. We're just starting out. So we're on the trail. This is just an old decommissioned logging road. And it looks like we go about 1 kilometer up here and take a fish hook left. Okay, so we're about 1 kilometer, well, almost 2 kilometers in. Top of this little ridge. The fog's starting to part a little bit. We're still going up this way. Well, this trail has turned to choss. The old culvert's washed right out. Pretty soon we're back in the snow, but the thing is, the snow is on top of the choss. So the rain has now turned to snow. The trail's gotten pretty rocky, a bit slippery, but I think the snow is actually better than the rain. So probably a couple kilometers to go yet before we set up camp for the night. Hopefully with a decent view. I'm also hoping that the fog will burn off a little bit, the cloudy weather, so we can fly the drone and get some good landscape photos. But for now, the snow is really pretty slippery and icy underneath. So it makes for hard work, and it's a pretty good incline. Okay, so we just decided that we're going to go back. There's a little flat spot that we just passed. We're losing light pretty quick. It's going to be hard to film anything. Might be too dark already to film, but I think the snow background will help. But basically, it's almost dark. We've passed one reasonably flat spot just back here a bit, so I think we're just going to go back there, set up camp, and get warm and dry. Here's our little spot. Should work just fine for camp. We're about halfway up the slope, so we're not down in the cold well, and we're not up on the windy ridge. So I think it'll be a reasonably good spot to set up camp. So that's what we'll start doing. Well, definitely winter wonderland this morning. We got probably 6 to 12 inches of snow last night. And it's really heavy, wet snow. Pretty much collapsed my 3-season tent. Eric's new lightweight tent took a beating. And the whole inside of the tent is soaked. Pretty cold and wet. Well, we've got about 6 inches of snow overnight. It's definitely made everything quite a bit harder. It's pretty slippery underneath, and we didn't bring crampons, so we may not be able to make it up to the ridge. But we'll see how it goes. I have an ice axe. That'll help a bit. This is what the trail looks like. Kind of a winter wonderland. Except the snow here is really heavy and wet. Coming up to a junction.
3.5 hours.
How much? 3.5 hours? I don't think that was in this conditions. Alright.
Onwards.
Onwards and upwards. Okay, so we just came down this hill, pretty steep, at 70 degrees. Slippery. Now we get a little creek to contend with. Okay. I think the trail goes up that way. There's a ribbon right up there at the top. So we're just going to get across this creek and head up that direction.
That's the trail.
Yeah, you made it. It looks like there's a cable or something running down there, yeah.
Wire rope.
Okay, so change of plans. We're heading back down. I pulled the cord. We had too far to go. Conditions were just getting way worse. Traction was getting questionable at best. And, you know, I just didn't want to take any more chances. It's about 10:30 in the morning. And the trail marker said 3.5 hours to the top. And that's in good conditions, so I'm thinking at least double that, which is 5 hours, which is 3:30. It's dark at 4:30. Then we have to make it back down without crampons and in worsening conditions. So I decided that it wasn't worth it. We turned around. And we're heading back down to the base camp. Collect the rest of our stuff. And then head back down to the vehicle. That's all we can do in this weather. It was supposed to be reasonably good weather, but it turned on us. And became heavy rain, which then turned to heavy snow. So that's the way it goes some days. We can make plans, but things change. So yeah, head back to where we stashed our gear, pick that up and continue on down. Well, this will give you an idea of how much moisture has fallen over the last 12 to 24 hours. And this was a rock garden of choss coming up, and here's that culvert that was exposed. And you can just see there's a lot of water flowing down here at this point. I mean, there was a stream, a bit of a stream coming down when we came up yesterday. but there's substantially more water running down at this point. And it's below freezing right now, so although we are dropping in elevation, so it's starting to warm up a little bit. The sun's getting higher. We just passed some split borders going up to a different peak along the same trail. They're just going out for a scout mission. They're not actually trying to get to the top of anything. So the journey continues. So we're back down to the flat ground, reasonably flat ground. A little bit of a view, but not much. And as we get lower, of course, the snow is getting worse. It's really thick and heavy. There's, probably 3 inches of water underneath the snow. So, definitely hard going, even though it's reasonably flat. It's just really wet. I guess that's the theme of the day. That's the theme of the whole trip, actually. Just a lot of wetness. Alright. We've made it down. See the slush. There's a happy sight, the car. Not too much snow, should be able to get out of there no problem. And that's the end of this trip. It was a lot tougher than we thought it was going to be, so that was a learning curve. But that's it for this time. Take care. So we're on the road out and the adventure isn't over yet. There was the guys that we met on the trail and driven in this morning, and apparently this tree fell down sometime after they passed, which was probably about a 2-hour window between when they came in and when we got here. So luckily we have a little saw. We're gonna have to cut this tree and get it out of the way. So that's what we do now. So I've got Eric hard at work with my saw. I did actually do some sawing, but we wanted to catch the breaking point on camera, so here we go. Hopefully it doesn't flip up and kill Eric. Oh, almost. Well, shit. That was anticlimactic. Alright. We've made a hole. And we're back on track. Hopefully, that's the last of the adventure. Because we're soaked, we're cold. We need a coffee for a dry out session. Ciao.